Chelsea host Arsenal in the Premier League, and it is going to be an epic, spellbinding, enthralling, engaging, gargantuan football match. Not only are Chelsea on a bad run of form, looking to get back to winning ways in the league, pushing back towards that top four finish. Arsenal are in a title race. Gunners aren't fully believing of this yet, and we're going to get onto that a little bit later. Gunners aren't fully believing in this, but this feels like the gateway game. The game where if they win, their fans will stand up in unison and say, I really believe we can win the title. Or I believe we can really push City and go toe-to-toe for the remainder of the season. To add a little bit of fuel to the fire, if it needed it, Man City get a last-minute winner against Fulham to put themselves top of the league. Arsenal want to go into the World Cup period on top. They now have to beat Chelsea, you would think, to be able to manage that due to the superior goal difference right now that Manchester City have. It's going to be an absolutely brilliant day. There's no doubt about it. Before we jump into the preview, though, hit the like and the share button, subscribe to the Football Terrace, download the OneFootball app, scan that QR code you can see just there, beautiful little black and white QR code. Get that done. The best one-stop shop for football on planet Earth, from news, transfer stories, exclusive content, live football matches streamed on there, including Serie A, plus much, much more. Let's do this.
And I think the players, and I think Arteta was probably thinking about Sunday. We've all been thinking about Sunday. We've got this game out the way. We're concentrating on Sunday. We went there last season after on the back of 3 losses, and we beat them. And we can go there again quite easily and beat them. They are not a good team at the moment. They're not the team that they were when they had the billions behind them. The confidence is seeping out of Chelsea. We saw exactly what happened to them last week. They didn't just get beaten by the odd goal at Brighton. They got absolutely annihilated.
So listen to that. That is Julian there on the brilliant AFTV talking. And the reason I shared that clip is because I feel this is how most Arsenal fans think about this game. I think there is a resounding level of confidence. There is confidence in their team, their manager, and they're looking at this Chelsea team and thinking they're there for the taking. They've got multiple fullbacks out. Ben Chilwell out. Reece James out. They've got Kante out. Fofana out. They have almost no midfield that they're confident in. They've got one fit fullback in Cucurella. And the performances of late for Chelsea have not been good. They were outplayed by Man United in that first half, and it kind of became a little bit even in the second half. They got the goal from the penalty, and then they threw it away at the end. Of course, there was the battering, the annihilation, as Julian said there, against Brighton, and that is in the head of both teams. That is in the head of both teams. And I think as it stands right now, everyone knows I'm someone that thinks Chelsea are going to build something brilliant with Todd Boehly and his regime owning the club. I think they're going to build a very sustainable, very good footballing powerhouse of a club. When I say very good footballing, I mean playing good football, but a powerhouse. They are a giant. They will remain as a giant. But Chelsea are going through transition right now. Chelsea fans know the football isn't quite good enough. They know the manager is a little bit wet behind the ears at this level and is learning. They know that there is a squad right now at Chelsea that lacks a midfield, that's got major injuries, that doesn't have an out-and-out killer up front in many people's eyes. And if they do have a killer, they're not creating the opportunities for them. And Arsenal are in the ascendancy. Arsenal are in the form, probably their best form in the best part of 10 to 15 years, maybe even longer. It's the greatest start to a Premier League campaign they've had, the greatest start to a league campaign in over 110 years. 110 years. Think of what's happened in the world in 110 years, and Arsenal haven't been as good as this. They are scintillating right now. And I believe that there is a genuine fear amongst Chelsea fans about playing Arsenal. Now, no one liked me talking about the fear. I'm not scared. I ain't scared of no one, bruv. I don't mean like literally quaking in your boots. Just a horrible feeling in the gut of this isn't going to be good for us. You've also got to look at recent history. over the last 2.5 years, Chelsea have managed just one win. 2-0 right at the start of last season, but then comprehensively beaten in April by Arsenal. Beaten 1-0 at Stamford Bridge the season before that. And if you go back, the last 3 years at Stamford Bridge, no wins for Chelsea, 2 wins and a draw for Arsenal. Arsenal have been, even in their worst times, and if you look between January 2020 and now, between January 2020 and April 2022, the worst period ever for Arsenal in the Premier League. In my opinion, the worst. They were at the absolute worst footballing level they've been in my lifetime. And they were still beating Chelsea. And that confidence, a lot of those squad players, a lot of players from that squad are still here. And they'll know it. And that'll be seeping through them as they build up to this game. Now, I'm not going to write Chelsea off. Like, as in, give them zero chance. Because that would be, only a fool would do that. But they are the underdogs at Stamford Bridge. If Arsenal don't turn up, if Arsenal are not at it, if Arsenal are too passive, this Chelsea team can hurt you. They've got Raheem Sterling. They've got Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. They've got players in this team that can hurt you. But in my humble opinion, just as we saw in pre-season, if Arsenal are pressing hard, managing their moments well, not gassing themselves out, they are superior and clear of Chelsea right now. Now, I know that's going to make some Chelsea fans unsubscribe from the Terrace. Oh, I'm not watching you anymore. I have to speak my mind. When I've been praising your team many, many times in the last 2 to 3 years, when you were winning things, when you were on great runs, you loved it, I've got to speak the truth. Arsenal right now on the football pitch are clear and superior. And I know Chelsea fans are fearing this game right now. There is going to be no midfield battle. I believe Arsenal have won that in the locker room. They walk it, they win it in the tunnel. Kovacic and Jorginho versus Partey and Xhaka this season right now, 2022, November the 6th, when this game gets played, Arsenal win that battle. Arsenal have a very good defensive line. Chelsea's defensive line is pretty good as well, by the way. And then attacking-wise, I just think there's more fluidity, more speed and power right now in that of Arsenal's. So when you weigh it up from front to back, Arsenal win in every department barring defense, which you may argue is fairly even. Some Arsenal fans would say, no, I think we've got the superior defense as well. So Arsenal fans need to come into this with chest and confidence saying we should be winning. Because on paper, on recent history, on current squad depth, current managerial experience, and form in the league, this has Arsenal win written all over it. I want to know what you think and feel about that. Let's take a little look here at what someone else on AFTV had to say, because this is also something about the Arsenal element that I want to speak about today.
That game, Robbie, if we do beat Chelsea,
Man's out here with mums, love that.
then we have to start talking about the title.
You feel that?
Honest to God, there's no way we go to Stamford Bridge, an away game, a ground where we don't traditionally win. If we win at Stamford Bridge,
we won there last year.
We did win that last year,
And the year before, I think. Yeah.
but traditionally, traditionally that's not a ground we do anything. But if we go there and we win, that's probably the biggest statement of this season. From that point, my belief will be higher than it's ever been.
And I want to ask that to Arsenal fans watching right now. That is my question to you right now as Gooners. If you win this game, will you stand up and say, I am? Will you stand up and say, my team can win? Is that what's needed? I've heard people calling into Talk Sport. I'm hearing it whispered on a lot of the big content creators' accounts. This could be the game where I think Arsenal fans already believe. I think they're waiting for a gateway moment. I think they're waiting for a performance against a big team that sends ripples across football and they can say, we are back. Is this the game? I want your thoughts and I want your feelings on that. And the other side to it is Chelsea. What happens if you lose? Or what is that reaction going to be? Because I think there's a lot of people that don't really like this new regime, that are not really happy with Graham Potter. I think there's a good 40 to 50% that they don't want to admit they don't like it, but they don't. And I think there's another 40 to 50% who kind of like it, but don't want to go online and say it. They don't want to admit, I think we're moving in the right direction. There's like quiet pessimism and quiet optimism going on at the same time. And I think a win or a loss for Chelsea could be very significant as well. Beat Arsenal. And I think this loud group, this loud percentage of positive fans, this percentage of positive fans might become quite loud. That could create confidence within the dressing room, within the manager, within more of the fan base, and set things alight in a positive way. But it could go the other way as well. And that's what I love about this game tomorrow. There are side plots with the Aubameyang video. There's the title race, the top 4 race. There's how the fans really feel about Arsenal going to the next level. Are we really at City's level now? Can we really title challenge? And then you've got the Chelsea fans, who I think are split. Are we moving in the right direction or are we not? Tomorrow is a huge game. It will be a marker, I believe, for the remainder of the season and maybe for the next 2 to 3 years of both football clubs. It'll be a moment, a pivotal point that we look back upon as football fans and go, that was where we found out. That was when we saw. Or that was when they started to believe. It's going to be an epic game. I'm going to give you my score predictions. I held them back yesterday on the Top 6 show. I am going for an Arsenal win. I'm going for an emphatic win as well of 3-1. It's not a dig at Chelsea. I think Chelsea are moving in the right direction. They're just not at this moment in time, in this season, on Arsenal's level. In recent years, you're clear. Recent years, in terms of major trophies, you're clear. We know this. But we're talking about winning this particular game. I'm going with 3-1 to Arsenal. I want your score predictions. Make sure you're smashing the like button. Make sure you're downloading the OneFootball app now. But until next time, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you soon.